But now AIADMK, totally it has exposed itself as a traitor to the Tamil Nadu people and its interests by joining hands with BJP. Now, why is he contesting in two places, in Trichy as well as in Perambur? If he is very confident of winning, why doesn't he choose a single constituency and then pitch him in? Ports are now Adani ports. Your airports are now Adani airports. And your all the windmill projects, all the solar projects, so everything. So that's why we always call the BJP government as the corporate government. Subsidy, that point probably we would have missed it. Definitely we will do that as soon as we come back to power, which I am certain that we will be.
Vanakkam, good morning. I am very glad today to invite our South Chennai MP, two-time MP, Ms. Thamizhachi Thangapandian to our office. This starts a series of interviews that we do with politicians in Chennai in our office. So thank you so much, ma'am, for coming. Would you like to start with a sort of a overview of what this election means for Tamil Nadu and particularly the DMK?
Vanakkam. Greetings to all of you. It's so good to start my day today at the Hindu with all of you. Yes, as a member of parliament from South Chennai, and heard that most of you are from my constituency. Again, it's coming to this election, I would like to just begin at the outset that it is not merely an election between two regional parties, which have been, if you take the track record of the Tamil Nadu elections, it has always been either a battle between DMK and AIADMK, mostly regional parties ruling the roost. But this is a very different election, as our Chief Minister has rightly pointed out. It is an election between Tamil Nadu and Delhi. That's metaphorically. It's an election between SP, a secular progressive front, and the NDA alliance. And the key factors are the NDA alliance means the dominance of the BJP party and the way in which other regional parties and their alliance are just playing a second fiddle to BJP, and how we have formed a secular progressive front based on raising issues for the rights of the Tamil people, its legacy, its culture, its language rights, its federal rights on one side, and how the other alliance is entirely a different alliance, mostly geared by the Union BJP-led government and the ideals also. So it is, metaphorically, I would say that a battle between Delhi and Tamil Nadu, so that for the common man to easily understand it. But this is the politics which, when I say that, the underlying politics is that it is a battle between secularism and polarization. It's a battle between upholding your Tamil identity and surrendering to the whole narrative of everything monogamized as one, and a battle between your federal rights and again, a monopoly of one single government. Maybe they profess that it is a double engine or whatever it is. It is a battle between Dravidian engine and the so-called double engine. For us, my party, the party which I represent, the DMK party, is considered, we are very comfortable and confident in facing the mandate, because we are facing the people with three main focus. One is our electoral promises when we assumed office in 2021. How many promises have we made, and how many promises have we actually delivered, the goods delivered, and what were the reasons for not meeting out the rest of the promises? Anybody can file an RTI and check it out. And the second is what we have done in this 5-year term. The third is the Chief Minister had already issued a vision statement. This is how we came to power. This is what we delivered when we are in power. And this is what we have a vision. We visualize that we will take forward to Tamil Nadu in the next 10 to 15 years 2.0, Dravidian model government. I don't think so has any chief minister has done this sort of groundwork as well as issuing a vision statement, also just sharing to the public about the sort of his performance. In these three aspects, our chief minister has concentrated, and this is how he's facing the election. I don't think so any other chief ministers representing any other states in India has done it in the recent past. So I'm so happy to represent my party and having had a discussion on this about the polls, about our party's policies and how we are going to face it. Anything under the sun, probably.
Even though you are not part of the state government, I suppose you must have been party to certain deliberations internally within your organization on certain issues. The issues about which people have genuine concerns, notwithstanding the relentless campaign by your political adversaries. The issues are the drug menace, number one, and number two is the state of affairs concerning higher education. And in the current academic year, three of my friends, one of them is a journalist, they all got their children admitted for humanities courses, not for any engineering or medicine, in universities outside Tamil Nadu, either Aziz Premji or Christ University or Jindal. Because somehow the perception is that things are not all right with regard to higher education in Tamil Nadu. This is a very sad state of affairs. And of course, this caste-related violence, particularly concerning scheduled castes. It's not that this is something unique to this regime, it has been there, but particularly in the southern districts, the media has reported more such events. So on these areas, there have been concerns apprehensions among people. There is who are not politically aligned with this or that formation. So what is your response?
About three questions you have asked about the drug menace. It's been repeatedly a news which is of concern, always reported in newspapers, especially in certain pockets, and the chief minister had actually assessed the situation. What we had suggested, and he had also taken into account, is policing is there. I mean, we are not comparing anyway. That is a wrong way to compare, these things were happening in those states. For example, take the cases of all the BJP-led government. That's always there. But here is a chief minister who is always responsible in handling the situation and holds accountability. So, a visible policing is there, controlling is there, but to bring it down, a visible policing must be there. That's what our chief minister had advised, and I think people are at it. They are taking it seriously and they are into it, and they are trying to, if at all there is any such incidents, it's being brought under control. And then coming to the higher education, there are certain perceptions that you stated that. See, for example, when it comes to higher education especially, the field of education itself, both in school education and in higher education, the rates, the enrollment rates, I am not just randomly saying or justifying. The figures, the data, when you take it, the enrollment rates for the women candidates, it has actually increased. It is more than the general ratio of, when you consider the average Indian ratio, ours is higher. Especially the women enrollment is higher. When you are not, if there is no conducive atmosphere in the universities, how can there be a rise in the enrollment, especially particularly if it's not safe for women? That's one question I would like to ask you back. The second thing is the government's major impetus, especially our chief minister's main impetus is on the focus of education alone. For example, the infrastructure of all the be it in the government schools, the scientific laboratories, it is 98%, even more higher than Kerala, which is supposed to be the most empowered state in education. So that is also another thing. When it comes to higher education, there may be certain grievances, but it is not as alarming as certain parents or certain students, if they had opted out for a few more universities. That doesn't mean that totally the atmosphere is not conducive, because the data is otherwise. It states that it is actually the Tamil Nadu, especially the higher education sector, is doing extraordinarily well. And it's all, I think, in the data. Anybody can fact check it. Whatever fact we share here, that's how our Chief Minister always insists that you can fact check it. Caste-related violence, yes, southern districts, yes. That is again things to be actually worried about whenever. See, I can't justify. Those things shouldn't have happened. The first thing I straight away clearly state that we are for them and we are with them. We have to give them the assurance that their rights are duly given to them and they are very safe. Those things shouldn't have occurred. But when it have occurred, we never ran away from our responsibility. That's the one point. We never make any sort of pretentious statements that we were not aware or whatever it is. It's a sad thing. It should not have happened, but we will definitely take actions. And we have had, and also we have, like all those underprivileged sections are friends in alliance with our parties, and they will definitely reiterate their own rights. And whenever there is any grievances, they have the access to the Chief Minister. And the major 13-star programs have been highlighted, which have been adopted by the union government itself as star programs. One of it is the Dr. Ambedkar program, which actually is not giving any monetary assistance. See, because everything comes from empowering them right at the education level. So those students are identified and given vouchers to make use of it in whichever way they want. Either they can use it for education or any for scholarship things or for any skillful programs thing. This is one of the out of the 13-star programs enlisted by the union government. This is one of those programs, and I would insist or underscore that by making the next generation very, very aware of their rights, and they are empowering them to question, if at all, any injustice is taken to them. This is the best way, and I think our government is providing also that way, that corner also.
In the last Lok Sabha elections in 2024, the BJP and the AIADMK contested separately. Now they are together. Since you see this as an ideological fight, do you think it is beneficial to you that the AIADMK and the BJP have come together, and that the AIADMK is no longer just a political rival, but is actually an ideological enemy? Do you think that is advantageous to you now that they come together?
Yes, absolutely. It's advantageous to us in two fronts. One is, like they are exposed before the Tamil Nadu people. By joining hands with BJP, by totally surrendering at the feet of BJP, by baiting the rights of the Tamil people to the center, they are now exposed to the Tamil people. They are not a party which never stood with the minorities when CAA, NRC was brought in. A party which never stood with the Tamil people when NEET was being brought in. A party which signed in Uday electrical scheme when it was being brought in, because we are now facing the burden of it. A party which is never proved loyal to the Tamilian interests, even for the sake of, just for the sake of the votes. It has totally compromised that party. Now it is joining hands with BJP. The farmers' law, for example, the most draconian law, it was never with that. Now it stands totally exposed. So it is an advantage for us. Both are ideological. Initially, both were Dravidian parties, as I would say. So we were actually either you or sitting in the power or in the opposition, we were happy because we have had the Dravidian. But now AIADMK, totally it has exposed itself as a traitor to the Tamil Nadu people and its interests by joining hands with BJP. That way, we have emerged, the secular progressive front has emerged as the one solitary voice, ideologically strong against BJP and as a champion for all the Tamil causes. So that way, in two fronts, it's very advantageous to us.
The one disruptor in the election scenario this year, this election season, is whether we like it or not, the TVK. So this is the entry of another complete unknown into the election scenario. We have, Tamil Nadu has had rather unsuccessful experiments with the third front. But in today's scenario, what do you think is going to be the impact of Vijay or the TVK in Tamil Nadu? And separately, since he's contesting from Perambur also, what do you think will be the impact in Chennai, which is an urban constituency, which has a large working class population, and it has a good fan base. The actor has a good fan base in Chennai.
See, when the actor has debuted his party, actually we didn't have any points to either to comment or observe upon, because taken a few principles or few ideals from this party and this and then that, and a few photographs from all the other parties, and then presenting it in a very scripted way, that itself, is like a bubble. When a party debuts, it should be very clear about its ideals. For example, what is his idea about the recent transgender bill? No, nothing. Has he issued any statement against the BJP government so far? Nothing. So if you are standing for the rights of the Tamil people, for the interests of the right people, what are your stand against the, for example, for the past 10 years, more than 2011 crores have been allotted for the upliftment of Sanskrit languages, with comparatively Dravidian languages including Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, simply 47 crores have been allotted. Has he ever commented on it? So there are so many issues like this. So when you look at a party, when it makes its debut appearance or whatever it is in Tamil Nadu, we would like to see what does it stand for. So that way, you don't have any other brownie points, not even points, leave alone the brownie points. So that way, you need not take him as a very, very serious contender. Fan base is entirely a different thing. You have seen crowds for so many actors, and not all those fanfare or fan base will translate into concrete votes. That's a very important million-dollar question. Now, why is he contesting in two places, in Trichy as well as in Perambur? If he is very confident of winning, why doesn't he choose a single constituency and then pitch him in? So that itself shows that he lacks confidence. And when it comes to Perambur, it's a very strong fort of DMK, because most of them, as you said, are manual workers, floating populations, and our government has done a lot. For example, the gig workers. Our government is the first government which has built shelters for the gig workers, which has a policy for gig workers, which has given incentives for all the MSMEs. And Perambur is a place wherein a lot of underprivileged sections of the people are living. So we have reached each and every household of Perambur with our schemes. The recent one, CM's Mudalvar Padipaham. You cannot keep that scheme on par with any other scheme. Excellent. I don't know how many of you had visited that place. It provides a lot of opportunities for those underprivileged section of the people, the students who comes and sits there for their civil services, for any other exam. Imagine a place like that in such an area in North Madras, emancipating them. You come, you study, you sit, you prepare, you face the world. It's an entirely different sort of goods delivered in that area. So we are very confident our local representatives, our MLAs, our Chief Minister specifically have catered to the needs of the people since he is contesting from that constituency in Chennai. So it's a myth that the actor is having a lot of probably followers or fans in the city, in the urban areas. It's a myth, I would say. Fans may be there throughout the country, but definitely those won't translate into a decisive vote. And we are confident. See, you take a family, the girl is given for higher education if she wants to pursue. In Pudumaipan, now we are going to give 2,000 rupees. In Nan Mudalvan, you are going to enhance the amount. And giving training, skilled training to appear for all the entrance JEE or any other thing. So each one of them, it's not just a matter of giving money, it's just empowering them. So that's what matters. So when our Chief Minister, his scheme has reached to each and every household, and either in Perambur, also in Trichy, there's no chance of Mr. Vijay winning in both the constituencies.
Right. So it's nice that you brought up this whole development aspect, the what the CM calls the Dravidian model. It's very interesting because will this Dravidian model or the desire to bring along all sections of society together in your development, how long will this last? I mean, if you look at the country as a whole, there's a great deal of privatization happening, whether it's airports or railway stations.
Absolutely.
Or, separate kiosks. There are islands of privatization happening. Is it possible as a state government in a federal structure to resist this privatization and to take forward? How long do you think this development model can last?
So the onus is now on the DMK government, because DMK has been time and again declared by our party iconoclast that it is not merely a political party. That's actually an organization which believes in bringing renaissance, which believes in bringing reformation. It doesn't work with mere political agenda. So that is how it has invested the party's interest right from the inception of the party in 1949. In 1989, our Tamil Nadu was the first state under the leadership of Dr. Kannan to bring the property rights to women. So it's not just that you are giving empowering women by this financial assistance in 2024. The battle has begun way back in 1989. So the seeds were sown from that year onwards. 49 year onwards, from probably it was when Periyar conducted the Chengalpattu conference, all the 21 pointers were for women only. So everything has begun from that. We have been carrying this. Now coming to your point of the whole entire India is gearing towards privatization, it's a very sad thing. See, there was a move even for LIC is being privatized, Air India is private, and the greatest examples are your ports are now Adani ports. Your airports are now Adani airports, and your all the windmill projects, all the solar projects, so everything. So that's why we always call the BJP government as the corporate governments. It's not for the people of country, of India. It's only for the corporates, because it's been moving almost towards privatization, and there's a lesser space for all the other public entity to be given. So here is DMK with this principle of Anaivarukkum Anaithum, everything for everybody. And what do you call equality? Equality is not merely treating everybody equal. It's giving equal opportunity to all. So that's the tagline of DMK. So when you work towards it, we will resist. That is how we always give space to the minorities, the marginalized sections, in all the, be it in industries. We also invest in global corporate markets, because we can't just go on adding on debts. We have to increase our revenue. So Chief Minister has conducted industrial summits, 2 or 3 summits, and he has visited countries to draw the global investors. So that is very necessary for the development, but not to the extent of totally bargaining the interests in the hands of the private players and surrendering everything for their welfare only. So DMK will definitely resist. And how does it resist? By just carrying forward this Dravidian model 2.0 for another 10 years. See, you can see our students now in all the reputed institutions. For example, now increasing in this manifesto, 5 lakh subsidy increase has been given to self-help groups. And when DMK came to power, when our chief minister was the deputy chief minister, the self-help groups for women have been given a greatest push. Throughout the states in India, our women self-help NSGs have actually returned their loans to the bank. That was a record, even it is there. You can fact check it. So it's been a continuous process when we consider that on one side, the whole onus is on privatization. Here is a government which is always insisting on everything for everybody, which means you can't just give the entire cake to someone and ask them to eat it too.
Yeah, you're mentioning about the cases in Maharashtra and Bihar, but also now the allies of the DMK, who have been ideologically aligned with the party, they find that instead of growing and expanding, they actually shrunk in numbers in this election. So how do you justify that?
I will strongly object the word shrunk, because not giving the numbers which they quoted doesn't mean that as a party they have shrunk. So we have to be very...
No, but their numbers from the previous election to this, except for VCK, it's shrunk, and new entrants have got 10 seats.
That's it. That's what I was about to say, that when you are having a new alliance partner, we have also, compromised in our seats also. It happens in both ways. As a major party playing the role of bringing all the ideologically aligned parties together and then assigning their number of seats first and then their seats of their own preference is a Himalayan task, I would say. When our chief minister is doing this, I am reminded of M.N. Roy, the famous left leader. Way back, I think 50 or 60 years ago, he met Thandai Periyar and he formed an alliance against Nazis that time. That was supposed to be a very historic alliance, and I would equate our chief minister's this task with M.N. Roy's efforts one day. It is not an easy job. All of us are bonded together based on a simple but very strong ideology, secular, progressive front, that is. So whoever aligns with us in that way, we need to make a few adjustments. Even the major, the greatest party, the big party, Congress has also made adjustment, and VCK, as you said. So everybody, they have done their own share. So our chief minister appreciates all their efforts and all their understanding. Certain frictions would have been there, but it has been all solved amicably. And when you are framing an alliance, forming an alliance on par with M.N. Roy, you have to take that into account, leaving alone all these small things sideline.
As a follow-up question, you're talking about expanding the alliance in the larger interest, but how do you justify the inclusion of parties like the Mukulatur Pulipadai, a caste-based organization, or KK Selvakumar, who actually is on record saying that he was raised in the RSS? So how does that align with the DMK and the Secular Progressive Alliance's ideology?
You can't just, I totally agree with the caste label it carries, but certain factors you need to take into account also. When you face an enemy who are totally, for example, PMK, it is on their side, and who are totally, undoing all the rights of the minorities and the underprivileged sections, certain kind of people need to be also taken in. That doesn't mean that you're totally based on their ideology, or you're totally, pushing the entire burden or whatever it is on them. If he comes, probably the Karunas or whoever it is, if he comes in, we have had taken supports from all the parties like Kongu party also. So you have to just look into the interest of in what ways, because you can't just leave them on their own and then get things according to their own whims and fancies. That's not the thing. You have a control over everything. When they come to offer you support, when you are facing an enemy who are trying to totally make inroads into Tamil Nadu and make this place as a polarized place, from all the other corners you are trying to impose, you are trying to divide the people religion wise, anything, even food wise, whatever it is, culture wise. When you are facing such an enemy, you don't want to leave any stone unturned. And probably that's a strategy.
Ma'am, in a state like Tamil Nadu, where women's participation in education and in the workforce has been relatively higher, their electoral representation has remained low. It has certainly increased, I think, from 11 in 1967 to about 413 in 2021. But women still account for only about 10% of the total number of candidates. So why do you think this gap exists, and do you think parties need some structural changes to improve women's representation?
That has been a very important concern, especially when it comes to DMK. You take the number of local representatives now in our government 2021, but I would just like to point out that this candidate list has now 19 women candidates. So it's been an increase only when it concerning DMK. And also the representations, the reservations given for the local body elections when during Kalanga's period, and now 50% in our Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's period, you can see that more than 1,400 councillors are there in the local body. I believe any democracy should have a very strong base at the grassroots level. That's how from there a councillor, a local body representative, then an MLA, because the basic, they are the people who are directly connected with the locale, with the public also. So that representation has actually improved. And take for example Chennai. Chennai has a woman mayor from a scheduled community. Chennai has had only 2 women mayors. Corporation in this history of 200 years, there was only 1 woman mayor who had not completed a full term. And Priya is the DMK mayor from our, the Pattiyalanathavarla, the scheduled caste community. From there, she is the one who is going to complete her full term. And all along the history, if you just see how importantly DMK has taken into account the giving places to women. For example, the appointment of priests without the caste barrier. The first woman priest, Sahana, is from Tamil Nadu during DMK regime. And also 3 women from the Arundadiyar community have been given tickets this time. So the changes are happening comparatively on a higher ratio compared to other parties. Minorities, women participation, but giving the representation, the local body level itself, more than 6,000 councillors throughout, and making them to sit in a chair to decide for themselves. Comparatively, DMK has been working on it in a very, very progressive way. You can see the number of seats increase. Now I said visibly it's 20 seats. And as I had stated, women from all the other arenas also, especially the woman priest is a remarkable feat, I would say.
Ma'am, I have 3 questions. Your MP constituency encompasses some few MLA constituencies. Could you mention some 5 projects or infrastructure projects which you think has eased the struggle or challenges that the people of Chennai face, or anything which you have think that the government has effectively addressed those issues? Number 1. Number 2 is you have changed a few MLAs, sitting MLAs, and have given seats to other people. So in a way, are you also indirectly accepting that these MLAs' actions were not up to expectation? Number 3, you opined that you are against privatization. So what are your views on the protests by conservancy workers who are employed for operations of Greater Chennai Corporation?
See, regarding the infrastructure projects, you can compare Chennai 5 years ago and what is Chennai now, especially with all the high flyovers. I think I can name all from my constituency, the Indira Nagar or T Nagar, and parking spaces, the multi-level parking spaces. The major point is the flyovers and the metro work which is begin. Nothing is going to just to be done in a jiffy within 5 years, but work has begun. The seed was sown, and what all difficulties we face. The project, the metro, we have not yet been given allotted money from the union government. The whole burden is on the shoulder of the state government, yet we are doing it. So the flyovers, the metros, but the most important thing is, imagine the lung spaces in Chennai, all the parks. A city which doesn't have much spaces, public spaces to go and relax or to go and have a fresh air, lot of lung spaces have been created. And one major thing is the clearing of the dump yard, Perangudi dump yard, which has been, like I was elected in 19, and the marshland and the dump yard has been, you know, like represented that matter umpteen number of times in Parliament. And the clearance of that recycling of that thing is a very major thing, I would say. These are all just the things that comes immediately to my mind. But the infrastructure upliftment of Chennai, you can see the Velachery Membalam also. It's been amazingly, in a very, very, you can see the difference in the way people are easily commuting. And people complain because metro work is going on, but that's for them only. In another 2 years, their life is going to be again very easy. Look at the EZR link which is coming. And from Saidapete to Thenambet, all those links which have been, you know, like which are now being sown or the works have begun. So Chennai's phase is totally, that has been the dream. Our Chief Minister will always say that சென்னையை போல போக்குவரத்து வசதிகளோடு ஊடிய கிராமத்தை உருவாக்க வேண்டும், கிராமத்தை போல சுத்தமான காற்று உடைய சென்னையை உருவாக்க வேண்டும். And mind you, in the climate front also, in the environmental front also, Chennai is doing extremely well because Chennai has, Tamil Nadu government has a climate council, and the Chief Minister is the only Chief Minister who is the president of that council, and so many pink volunteers are there. I mean, environmental front, which is a very important thing, because one side, the city is fastly developing. On another side, what's happening to the ecology or the environmental ethos, it needs to be balanced, and it's beautifully managed under this government. That's one point. Change in hand candidates. See, that doesn't mean that they have underperformed or they have not performed well. Some new faces need to be accommodated. If you even give the same old tickets to the same old MLAs and MPs also, then there will be a question, then why the same persons? It will be vice versa always. So the choice is probably 60 plus new faces have been accommodated in this candidate list. This is a list which has the senior most, our General Secretary there contesting, as well as the junior most 26-year-old woman is contesting. So it's a very, very beautifully balanced, all comprehensive list. So that doesn't mean that they have underperformed or not performed at all, which is not a very rational judgment. Privatization, see.
Conservancy.
Exactly. That's what. There should be a perfect balance. There is a leaning, especially after BJP having come to power for the consecutive term, the third term, total lenience, leaning towards privatization. That's what we object. There should be a perfect balance. Why do we go and ask for the investors to come? Why do we have a Hyundai factory? One side, it's development, it's providing opportunities for all the youth or whatever it is. That also we need. But it should be a balanced way. That's what we mean. We are not going to totally, we have contractual labors here, because when we are not able to manage, you have to look at the revenue. When AIADMK ruled for 10 years and we came to power, the treasury was totally empty. In what situation has our Chief Minister stepped in the seat as the Chief Minister? The corona was that the world is going through a pandemic situation, your treasury is empty, you are facing an enemy ideologically, you are facing an enemy who are not going to help financially, you are now facing a pandemic situation. In that situation, he has assumed his seat as CM. So still there are a lot of ways to bring the revenue. So sometimes you have to hire up people, and that doesn't mean that you are totally not for public investments or public limited. There should be a balance, and that's how you have to look at it.
So I'm going to use this opportunity since you brought up rail transportation and how Chennai is changing. If I'm right, you've mentioned the MRTS extension project several times in the
My goodness.
parliament.
This one, the recent one, Velachery to St. Thomas Mount, some 500 meters. 18 years it was pending. Never ever in any world history. And I have shared in what all ways I had intervened in the parliament in my social media post when it was just made feasible 2 weeks ago. And then the safety permission was pending. I went and met the minister, and then it had happened. When I was sharing the good news, I could see lot of people, this generation, when I was going to school, it was our dream, now it has come. 18 years it was pending.
Yeah, so now that this particular stretch has come, what is your impression? Is there a sense of achievement? Is there a sense of finally it's here? And how will it benefit the people of?
Absolutely, I'm so happy because the commuters from one end, St. Thomas Mount to Velachery, imagine the people who are traveling, the commuters in train, how easy it is. Otherwise, they need to get dropped in some other station, need to take a bus or an auto and then catch up the train somewhere else. All this is for a pending 500-meter thing. But now it's big, so easy. I'm actually glad and happy that finally it's feasible. It's come to work.
Foremost, you were mentioning about the priority that we are giving for infrastructure development. But one of the key concerns that companies have, that people have, is that the floor space index across the city remains largely unchanged. So, we need desperate need for more land parcels within the city and in the suburbs. But the floor space index, when compared to the other cities like Bangalore and Hyderabad, is dismally low. So, will the state government do anything to improve the FSI so that the city will see more vertical development, because the state government is giving priority to transit-oriented development. At that point, there is a desperate need to increase the FSI. Number two, the other key concern that people of Chennai have is invariably we have to go to Bangalore to fly to a lot of countries, be it to the United States or to Europe. We barely have any direct connectivity, and there is a concern that the state government is not pushing enough with the Ministry of Civil Aviation, because finally the call is with MOCA to add connectivity from a city, abroad, or, even as a matter of fact, to many of the tier 2 cities within the country. The third thing is, we are talking about the priority given to, for the MRTS. Will the state government push further for the airport Kilambakam stretch? Because now that the Kilambakam terminus is operational and used by lakhs of people, but commuting to the terminus is a major concern for several people. But it's been a year since we submitted the proposal, but the union government has not approved it. Will we take steps to push it further?
Creating the floor space in the cities is a major problem. When it comes to the metropolitan cities, it's always a challenge. But we are consistently concentrating on that. Especially, you must have seen the T Nahar market space, wherein you have had ample spaces were being made for all the people to come and sit, with all the sitting spaces, with all the benches. There is one stretch near in Adayar also. One of the impetus, very important factor which is being given as a guideline to the corporation itself, is to create such spaces. We call it as public breathing spaces. So you can see that lots of activities have been happening on that side. I would say that T Nagar and Adayar are the main thing. Also the pedestrian crossings, they insist that now that you can see lot of pedestrian spaces have been, there have been encroachments sometimes, but the government is trying to make that pedestrian spaces also as far as possible to keep literally mobile for the pedestrian uses. So this is a challenge which every city faces. That's why I said the government is very keen in creating lung spaces also along with this. Creating the T Nahar is best example, and the Adayar walking stretch, you can see that Besan Nahar and Adayar stretch, it has been made as especially the floor space despite all the other commuters making use of it. You've been talking about Perambur Airport, I guess. That's been a long pending demand for us. See, whenever we represent that to the union government to push it forward, they will put the blame on the state government, saying that land needs to be acquired. And we will always say that it's all ready, why don't you just push it out? The ball will be pushed again to our court. So it's been a non-ending game, but definitely we will push it forward. You must have seen most of our members of the parliament have given representation to the civil aviation minister regarding this, and we will definitely push it forward, because that has been one of our priorities also, to have an expanded international airports which can cater to us like your many commuters as well. And the third question? Yes, of course. Now that there is an MRT, as you know, like there's an MOU getting signed, I think, or almost signed between the state government and the union government, definitely we will push it forward, because it's a very good suggestion. Commuters will find it very easy to go and catch their buses from Kelambakam if there could be a proper, definitely we will push it forward. We will do it, because anyway we are going to win and come back again.
How many seats though? Do you want to take a guess?
More than 200 is our target.
Yeah.
So roughly probably 210 or 29, that's how we are guessing. More than 200 is definitely our target.
I want to ask something about, in general, civic activism in Chennai, and how it is how it is coming together with the political class itself. So in your constituency particularly, there has been a great deal of mobilization of support from the Residents Welfare Associations, and FOMRA, the OMR Residents Association, is one of those agencies. So this sort of activism by the people, is it helpful for the representatives of a constituency? Is it sometimes troublesome? And you know what is the next stage for this? Can you take it ahead?
Yeah. See, absolutely, they are helpful only, because always those associations and NGOs, for example, cleaning of the beaches or coming out with taking responsibility to maintain certain sort of cleanliness in their park spaces, we absolutely need their help. And in my last term, I have also had a project which I call, one is Valimai Thamizhachi, one is distribution of metabins, which will come into civic senses. That is the recycling of the plastic wastes into something reusable in all the schools. We have incorporated, we have given metabins in certain government schools in my constituency. That is one project. And Valimai Thamizhachi is a project which I have had in, with the partnership of Rotary Club and Ethiraj College. That is making women empowered in their language skills, as well as taking care of them in the health front. So for all these, we need the help from associations, NGOs, Rotary clubs. So they directly connect us to the needy people, number one. They are almost connected with all the other sections, and then they know the needs of the people. So they come with proper representation so that we can take it forward. So they are very helpful to us. We will definitely, for example, in all these three projects, and one more important project which I have done with the help of the local people as well as our councillor is distribution of menstrual cups.
Yeah.
That's a very important project which I have undertaken as a member of the parliament last time. More than 1,500 beneficiaries from Kannaginagar, from that section of the women were identified, and they were given menstrual cups with the help of an NGO only. So they conducted all the orientation and awareness classes for this, and finally we distributed. So for any member of parliament or legislature, having a very good rapport with groups like this definitely will complement only, will enhance our performance, and we'll appreciate such sort of initiatives.
Ma'am, Vanakkam. Fishermen are saying that they have not been given any representation this elections. They have also been asking for ST status for a very long time. Kalaignar has taken up the cause. But centre says the state government has to push it through and take it to them, and that we are not doing what has to be done to get them that status. Why is there such a delay? And one more question is that you had promised subsidy for cooking gas, which has not been given. Thank you.
Regarding the case of our fishermen brethren, there has always been this dichotomy between us and the union government. Whenever Tamil fishermen were harassed or gunned down or arrested, they are Tamilians, Tamil fishermen. But when a fisherman from Gujarat, they were attacked, they are Indian fishermen. So this has been the way, partial treatment of our fishermen. We have raised this issue so many times in the parliament, and as you have rightly pointed out, giving their SC status has been a long pending demand from us also. We have been time and again representing this through either through letters or raising our voices in the parliament. It is up to them only. They should not put the blame on the state government like they do conveniently and easily for any other things. It's up to them to decide, and we are consistent. And I would like to say that out of the 13 star programs which has been chosen by the Niti Aayog, by the union government as model programs, the Neithal program by the Tamil Nadu government is one prominent one. That's exclusively for maintaining the shores, the conditions of the shores, and then giving assistance to the fisher folk. And I have a long stretch from Kottivakkam to Vettuvangani. So my main focus, the menstrual cups or whatever it is, any health awareness, conducting camps for anemia, conducting camps for any health concerned issues, or the fisherwomen folk only, because I have a very long stretch. And now recently in this manifesto also, the assistance, financial assistance during the ban period has been increased now. 12,000 it's been increased. So this government never forgets about fishermen. It always has their welfare in our mind. It's been totally working without forgetting all the, insisting on the fulfillment of their major issues. Subsidy, that point probably we would have missed it. Definitely we will do that as soon as we come back to power, which I am certain that we will be.
An impression that one gets from a look at the list of candidates of the two principal forces is that the state is proceeding towards oligarchy. First generation and educated persons don't figure much, okay? Number two is the cost of election becoming prohibitive.
The second question, can you just...
That is related to the first question, in the sense this first generation educated sections, okay, preferably from middle class, they don't like to take the plunge for elections, because there is a perception, very strong perception, that you need to spend at least a few crores of money, okay, legitimate expenses, okay, I'm not talking about anything else. So that is, in fact, even those who have got some aspirations don't like to, okay, join, that is, don't like to take that plunge. So the question is, is the cost of election, the participation in election, becoming so prohibitive that it drives away people who would otherwise like to associate or would like to otherwise to take part in elections and then make a meaningful contribution?
Yeah, that's a very wonderful question, I think, because I have mulled over this question so many times as during, because, and then we finally end up, when I mull over this question, why is this particular Gen Z or whatever it is so reluctant to have a very critical political thinking? And even though if they have, why don't they take that courageous step of plunging, as has been rightly pointed out by him? So these two questions, on and off, we used to mull over it. And finally, we might, get little frustrated, because nothing is personal here. We all know that. Probably the wisdom or our life experience must have taught that nothing is personal here. You just look at your neighbor's house and then there's no one. You just take your garbage and dump it there in their dustbin. When there's no one on the street, there your politics has begun. So nothing is personal. As far as women is concerned, nothing is all the more personal. Everything is political. So this critical realization should be there. especially with the Gen Z or the first generation. And facing an election with the minimum cost itself is a menace for them. That's what you're trying to say. So in order to break those fears, I would say, DMK has been constantly working on it. For example, you take this list. I said 26-year-old contestants is there. Out of the 164 constituencies, 125 were graduates. There are 17 engineers, 15 doctors, 29 advocates, 7 PhD holders, and 60 plus new faces. All these are strategies which try to break that taboo, or which try to help those youngsters. Come on, this is not a different field wherein you hesitate before you test your feet on it. You have to come and then test the waters. This is for you only. And this is how we give you all the spaces. That is, I think, the candidate list of DMK's clear message. So I would like, probably through our paper, I would just make an appeal to the youngsters, just think critically. I'm not here just to, I will also canvass for my party, no doubt about that. But still, I will, very clearly, sincerely appeal to you that just sift the views, take all the parties, evaluate them, think, ask about their ideologies. Even though if you're not contesting, just be politically conscious. Because this is your life, it's not someone else's, it's your education, your language right, your federal rights. So if you're going to just sit somewhere in the utopia, you can't always be sitting in the gallery and then saying you would have done this shot, or you should have dragged this goal to that pillar. No. You have to jump into the gallery, not from the gallery to the grounds, play the game. Only then you have the right to instruct whoever is playing about the games of the play. So that's my appeal to them. I think DMK, as a very democratic as well as a party focused on bringing lots of changes in the society, the candidate list gives a space, a hope for future aspirants to aim for this.
Same question, let me ask in a different way. Right. You left a very well-paying job, and your first thing was to hoist the flag in Tirunelveli for the youth conference, 2003 or so. You had to wait till 2019 to get your first chance at contesting an election. How many people have that staying power? How many people can wait for so long to be a member of parliament or MLA or whatever? Is it even possible in this day and age?
Of course it is possible, because the party in which I am attached gives you a lot of hope that we can wait. Leaving a job or being in a job, that doesn't matter. Of course, I left my job and I've had my innings for the past, 12 years in which I waited. But it is a choice, even though which is made by me. The party always gives you a hope. If you work hard, or if you are sincere, if you are pursuing your interest in the party for a long time, or a particular, in a very continuous way, definitely you will get your berth. If you take the track record of the party, people have been given due opportunities as and when the correct time comes. So if you are not convinced with that, I resigned my job in 2006 and the immediate election, if I am not given a ticket, I would opt away either from politics or jump to another party. That is not actually a healthy politics. That is all like a fair weather politics. So it depends upon in which party you are and how has the party orchestrated all these years for accommodating people like this.
I know Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam is a revolutionary party, is bringing new things to the society, introducing new things to society. You also mentioned that Ma'am Priya is also a long-term mayor of the Chennai city. So my question is, why hasn't transgender community in this election?
Actually, we had given Ria, our transgender, she has been, are you familiar with Ria? She has been given a berth in the council, she has been given that. See, we will definitely, that's what, even coming to transgender rights, don't just, take one point of time and then just say that we are not for them. It was Dr. Kalanga who has actually formed the first council for welfare board for transgenders way back, and it didn't stop from that. From then onwards, our fellow Trichy Shiva was the first MP to bring the private members bill, and it was our MK Stalin who has actually brought down, given the space. Even in the book fair, I have not seen so far, after DMK assuming power only, you can see a separate stall for the transgenders in the book fair. That's the first time I think that has ever happened in history. So it is not just like, and here also, as I mentioned here, not just that one point doesn't mean that you have not given a proper place to them. Take all the incidents right from the history always. And it was our Dr. Kalaignar, I think Madam Kanimuli only represented when Kalaignar was in the office, that their names should be included in the college application forms. She insisted and she got it done. Also the Thirunar, Thirunangai, those nomenclatures, instead of Aravanis, it was given during the DMK regime only. And take the recent transgender bill. How many parties have opposed it? Did AIADMK oppose it? Did TVK oppose it? And it was us who stood for their rights, and we will stand for their rights. So definitely it's not just like that, pinpointing one thing. You can't just say that we are for them, not for them. We are for them continuously, and we will be also upholding throughout, whenever we assume office, it is their welfare which will be our first priority.
How do you balance your life as a poet and a politician?
Yes. The first letter is P, no? For both. I would
Professor
say,
also.
Professor also, yeah, it's 3 P's, yes. See, it's a very, very tricky situation, because all the moments when I campaign are moments for either for a short story or for a poem. When I see some hands waving from the windows full of bangles, at the same time not coming down, that one hand waving hands, it's an inspiration for poetry. When I see a pair of eyes just looking through the window, I could see those eyes smile, but nothing from the lips coming. Lips and the heart may have different ideas. She may not even vote for me, but I would always look those eyes only. So there are, what I would like to say, that there are many moments in my political career, junctures, wherein I get lots of painful moments, guilty moments to write a poem when I'm not able to fulfill a wish or to keep up a promise, not to manage my guilt when I go to bed, like certain things which I have not fulfilled as a parliamentarian, as a politician. Poetry is my only catharsis, I would say. Probably I feel a little bit relieved after writing a poem. It gives a lot of that cathartic space. Your creative side keeps a very good balance for all the tensions you carry in your political side. And I have always said and felt that literature, theatre and arts, that's my crux. I just glide in all these other spheres only because I'm just grounded in that space. So that space you are your own. When you write a poem about Taslima, when you write a poem about, in fact I read that poem about Manipur women, when I had to speak. Yes, that was, translated, Kavi translated it. So it's all intermixed, but I would say poetry keeps me sane in this insane world of politics. It actually keeps me sane.
Right, and I think sanity is a good spot to end at, given what is happening around us. So yes. Thank you very much for coming to our office and spending more than an hour answering our questions.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, yes.